Hello, YouTube. It's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking as promised Love on the Spectrum season 4. I'm only right now in this video going to just be doing episodes 1 and 2 because the first 2 episodes really set the tone. There are 7 episodes on Netflix. The season of Love on the Spectrum. Kind of just want to break it down instead of just doing the entire season on one video. I think like when Married at First Sight comes back on Peacock, I'm just gonna do it that way because when I did the Married at First Sight reviews, it was just all over the place. So I just want to do this like two or three at a time until I finish all 7 episodes. So yeah, so Love on the Spectrum season 4. So we have a lot of returning people from the first 3 seasons, and we have a couple newbies in the mix. The first person I want to talk, we're going to talk, his name is Logan. Logan is 25. He lives in Las Vegas with his mom and sister. He's very shy. Very shy. He's really never been on a date of anything. He said he loves Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus, and everything. Like that's basically his type of girl that he wants and everything. And so, he's really never had anything in terms of the romance. So we seen Logan go suit shopping. His mother took him to a shop to get a new suit and everything, and he got this really nice blue suit and stuff, and he wants to look style because he has his first ever blind date coming out. So after he goes suit shopping, before he goes on his blind date, he actually meets with the autism expert named Jennifer, who comes to his house to try to give him tips on how to basically like act on the first date and everything. And so this Jennifer lady comes in, and he was really excited. He was nervous and excited to see her. I at first thought originally that he was actually gonna have a crush on her, basically, and everything. And so she came in and sat down with them and gave him the tips of like on how to just just basically do the small talk, like, "Hi, it's nice to meet you. Where you from? What do you like to do?" And she told him that when you're talking to somebody, it can't just be just one-sided. It has to be both. Like he told her you have to ask her like, what does she like to do, and tell me more about that and everything. And you're allowed to talk about yourself, but again, don't let it get to the point where it's all about one person and not the other. Got to find that happy medium, basically. So he took that advice. He took that advice to heart and everything, and it like really boosted his confidence up a little bit and stuff and everything. So finally, it's date day. He goes on a date, and he goes on a date with this 30-year-old girl named Haley. They're at this nice little restaurant and everything. He's in a nice blue suit and got some red roses for her. When Haley first come, I was just kind of surprised because I'm like, ooh, she was very pretty. She was very pretty, and at first I didn't even think that she was even on the spectrum a little bit. I just thought at first they're just gonna try this for a little bit, and then she gave me a little bit of vibes, a little bit and stuff and everything. But yeah, at first I just thought that she was not on the spectrum at first. So Haley comes in, and they introduced themselves and everything, and Haley started like carrying the conversation at first, like Logan did not know what to really say, but he did come up and mention that when I get nervous, I tend to just be quiet and everything and stuff and everything. So Haley like carried on the conversation. She was asking the questions like, "What's your favorite color?" and everything. And he said orange and blue, and she said hers is red and black. And when she said red and black, those are my school colors, high school colors. So I was like, okay, red and black, let's go. And so they talked about like their favorite movies and TV shows and stuff. And Logan said that he loves Toy Story. And Hannah said that she loves Toy Story as well. And then, of course, brought up the Hannah Montana stuff and everything. and she asked him like, "What's your favorite Miley Cyrus song?" And she said, "Party in the USA," and everything. And she said that was her mom's favorite song and everything. So once Logan and Haley started having a conversation, like it started to become less awkward at first, because at first it was just all Haley and Logan was just sitting on like this and everything. But once they talked about, TV shows and everything and whatnot, the conversation started to flow naturally. And it was really cute because towards the end, after they were done, when he was when their food came, Logan was actually a proper gentleman. He's like, "Oh, you got something on your face there," and he actually reached over with the napkin and just wiped it off for her. I thought that was really sweet and everything. Logan said that he's like wants somebody respectful and loyal and everything, and so I thought that was really sweet of him. And on a side note with this is why I do like the show. I don't know why I didn't like. I started just watching it in season 3 and stuff. I did catch up on the first 2 seasons, but this show is what reality dating is supposed to be like. It's really you get nice people, like forget them being on the autism spectrum, but you get nice people. You set them up on proper dates and everything. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. That's part of life. But it is not scripted. Logan, and this kind of melted my heart. Logan was so nervous in the beginning that he was like, "Do you have like a script that I can read off of?" And the producer said, "There's no script. Just be yourself." Thank you. Why can't all these other shows be like that? For real, why can't all these other shows just be like that instead of all this like hardcore produced just for drama stuff and everything? So this show is really authentic, and I like that. So Logan and Haley, Haley asked like, "Do you want dessert?" And Logan was like, "Haley, if you want dessert, you can get whatever dessert you want and everything." And she's like, "Well, I really like cheesecake." I'm like, "Well, you want to share cheesecake? Let's do it." And then she excuses herself to go to the bathroom, and Logan told the producer that he think he in love already. I'm like, "Okay, man. I ain't mad at you." Now there was one thing with Logan too, like when they were preparing for the date, like he was talking to his mom and sister. Logan did mention that he had hasn't had much success into relationships. That he even had like an imaginary girlfriend and stuff, and and was thinking about like, I guess he had an imaginary girlfriend, and he obviously going on this date, he said he wasn't gonna mention that and everything. And the mom and sister were like, "Or are you gonna dump her?" And then he kind of got defensive when he said that, and they were like, "Well, why are you getting defensive? You're about to go on a real date and stuff and everything." And stuff. He's like, "Yeah, but I just don't want to mention that." And I thought about him. Like, I ain't mad at him for having an imaginary girlfriend. I ain't gonna lie. I had one when I was younger and stuff and everything. I did the imaginary stuff when I was younger. Not at 25 though, but when you're just struggling to find love and everything, you almost will do anything. And if it's coming up with an imaginary girlfriend or whatever, then so be it. so yeah. But when he went on that date with Haley, I thought that was really sweet, and he already in love. So I hope she feels the same way. Because at first I thought it was a setup for a minute, because I'm thinking I don't think she's even on the spectrum. She didn't seem like it, but then and then I started noticing some things and stuff that she might be a little bit. And I've always said this, like when I did my season 3 recap, I said that throughout how the show is being portrayed, it seems like the girls are functioning a little bit more better than the guys are, with the exception of 1 or 2 and stuff and everything, which is fine, and it's just how they operated. But so far in these first 2 episodes, with the returning ones that I'll get into in a minute, is that I do see them starting to be more comfortable on camera than what they were in their first couple seasons and stuff. So yeah, we'll see how if Logan and Haley continue. So that was done. The next person I want to talk is another new person. Her name is Emma. Emma, I think she's 22 years old. She's from Utah, and she's a student at this like basically this performing arts academy or whatever. She has some roommates and stuff. She she I feel like I've seen her before. She has red hair and stuff. She looks like somebody who I know, and I just don't know who and everything. But we met her. She said that when growing up, she's liked a lot of guys. She says she's like guys since she was 3 years old. She actually grew up as a Mormon in LEC, in the Mormon faith and everything. So she has like really strict, like, godly views and everything. She made it clear that no sex before marriage. That's just obviously with her views and stuff and everything. Um, and so she's getting ready to go on a date with this guy named Austin, and they're out like at this like mountains and stuff, the snowy mountains and everything. And this guy named Austin comes about, and Austin comes in. He was really shy at first and everything. Um, his conversations were, um, Emma said that she really wants a guy that knows how to keep a conversation going. Look at me, I'm struggling to talk about this. But yeah, Emma said that she wants a guy that can keep a conversation going, basically. And when she went on this date with Austin, she didn't, like, Austin had a really slow start. And then he asked her to build a snowman and stuff, or she asked him to build a snowman. They built a snowman, then they started talking and getting to know each other a little bit more and everything. And it was finally breaking the ice. And then it started getting a little cold out, so they went and got something to eat and started talking about what they want and everything. And then what Emma's biggest fear came true. He wasn't carrying on the conversation and everything, talking about what he wants out of a relationship. He was just like, yeah, that's important and stuff. So after the date was over, Austin had asked Emma, do you want to go on another date? And she just flat out rejected him. She's like, you know what? I think we're better off just friends. And he said, you know what? This ain't the first time I've been friend zone, so it's okay. It's okay. So after that date, we seen Emma and her family back at the school that she goes to, and she had like a little like theater production performance where she sung and everything. And she sung really beautifully. And yeah, I can tell you this, I like this Emma better than the Emma on 90 Day Fiance. Just saying. No shade, but this Emma's a little bit more sweet than the one on 90 Day. So I'm curious. It didn't work out with this Austin guy, so she'll probably go on another blind date and find somebody. So it happens. So yeah. So that was Emma. Now let's go into some of the returning couples. Next couple I want to talk. I want to talk James and his girl. What is his girl's name? Was it not Haley Kelly? Dang, I forget. Silly. I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot James's girl's name. So when I did the season 3 recap, I said, James, he's a character. He talks a lot. He in the previous seasons, he's gone on a lot of dates and everything, and just couldn't find a connection and everything. And then at the end of last season, he finally was able to get with somebody. I do not know why I am drawing a blank on her name. Y'all, give me a minute. I got to find James's girl's name. I'm sorry, guys. I just had her name. Like, okay. James from Love on the Spectrum. Girlfriend. Shelly. Okay, it was Shelly. Okay. So, Shelly. James and Shelly met at the end of season 3 and got together, and they asked James, like, are you in love, basically? And he was like, yes. and everything. So Shelly's coming over to the house. James is still living with his parents, and they've been helping him out and everything. Shelly comes a lot, and she sometimes will stay over there. She'll stay like in the guest bedroom. The producer asked James like, has she ever stayed in the same room with you? And he got so mad when he asked him that. He was like, can you please not ask questions like that? And you know what? You know what? I ain't mad at that. I am not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. That is personal, and yeah, I know they want the little spice. Yes, you got to throw in a little spice in there, but that was personal, and I'm glad James was just like, you know what? I'm not. Please don't ask me questions like that. So Shelly came over, and I guess they're about to be going somewhere and everything. But like I said, James, he's a big talker and everything, and so he was like, "Oh my gosh, Shelly, you're so here. Oh, you're so amazing. I really like you so much. You're amazing, and everything." We're supposed to be going somewhere, but he wrote a poem for her, and so his parents and Shelly sat at the table, and he actually sung this poem to Shelly. And when he started singing, I was pleasantly surprised. He sounded decent. I was humbly surprised that how well he sung, because I just really didn't expect that. Like he threw me off guard on that one. It was a beautiful poem song that he wrote for Shelley, and then they went on the date, and that's all we saw from them. But yeah, James really surprised me, and James is one of those people that he's starting to get. I'm seeing a little bit of improvement from his previous seasons, and he's starting to become more comfortable into doing this and everything. He asked Shelly, "Do you think I'm self-centered?" And she's like, "Not at all," and everything. And his parents were like, "Shelly, you can be honest with them." I'm like, "Dang, you can be honest with them." And she's like, "No, not at all." And so that's sweet. That is sweet. So yeah, that was James and Shelly. Next couple I want to talk is Connor and Georgie. They were actually my favorite couple last season. Connor and Georgie. Connor's mom and Connor's whole family. They like to describe a lot of things. They talk about swords, and they were talking about kangaroos and stuff in Australia and everything and whatnot. But anyway, Connor and Georgie met last season, and they've been together for over a year now, and they're doing really well. But recently, Connor had mentioned in these episodes, that Georgie has starting to become a little bit like stepping away, like just starting to be a little bit more reserved than normal, and he's taking it as rejection. So his mom told him that he needs to like have this conversation with Georgie, because they're planning a tea party. Okay, we're doing tea parties now. They're having a little tea picnic, where they're gonna have tea and some sandwiches and some scones and stuff and everything. Nice little romantic date and stuff. And so but they really needed to have that conversation about Georgie being reserved and being like starting to reject him a little bit. So his mom gave him some tips on what to say and everything, like say like, Georgie, I really like you, I really care for you, but like I'm noticing like you're like when I try to kiss you, and you're just like, no, stop and everything. It just feels like you don't like me anymore and everything. And his mom was like, okay, that's good. That's how you say it. And she dapped him up for that and everything. So Connor goes out on this date. They go to this like Burton, this really nice house and whatever, to have their little picnic. And here comes Georgie and everything. They have their picnic and everything, and start talking and stuff. And then it starts to rain. So they're quickly grabbing up all their picnic stuff to go under shelter to finish their little tea party date. So they finished their little tea party date, and then like we finally had the question. Connor, he was nervous on how to word it. He didn't want to get ahead of himself, and he was like, "Okay, Georgie, I really like you, and I like you romantically. Do you see me romantically, or just as a friend?" And she said, "Romantically." And so he's like, that's good because, but recently I just felt like you've been more reserved. Like, like, I'll go into like, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. So like, I feel like I want to go in to touch, like kiss you and touch you, and you just like pull away. And when you do that, I feel rejected and stuff and everything. And Georgie said, my friends tell me stuff like that all the time, and it's not me. It's just me being in a chill mood. But she's like, I really am into you, and I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. So simple as that. It's just that simple. You and I was, and you know what? I'm proud of Connor for remembering the conversation, and proud of him for just like telling her how she really feels, and I'm proud of her for listening and addressing it and moving on from it. That's how you handle it as adults compared to what other people do. Other people just walk away and ghost you when you have those conversations, not them. So yeah, this is why I like this show. So yeah, it was really sweet. So yeah, but that was Connor and Georgie. And the last couple I want to talk is Madison and Tyler. They were a fan favorite from last season as well. Tyler's a good old country boy. They like country music, going to country concerts, wearing the cowboy hat and everything. Madison, she's a sweet girl. She loves her dolls and everything, and she's really independent. Like she lived on her own, has her own place and everything. We've seen in these two episodes, that Madison is actually moving. She's moving to Plant City, Florida, because apparently when her and Tyler are together, he was an hour away from her. And so she actually wanted to move closer to him. She's not moving in with them, but she's moving like 5 minutes from his house, close to him and everything. And so she got an apartment with her brother, and so she could be closer to him. So we seen the family like move Madison stuff into the new apartment and everything, help set it up and stuff and everything. And Madison's getting ready for her, and I think there's like their anniversary date with Tyler. And so Tyler has this nice big romantic like setup for her and everything. Like he's got flowers, and he's got like chocolate, and got candy and stuff and everything. Like he's like walking her and everything. They sit down to have dinner. They're reminiscing about the last year and everything, and telling how much they love each other. They're kissing and stuff, and you know what was cute. You know what their food date was? It was a burger and fries from McDonald's. Now, at first I was going to be like a really McDonald's, but Madison said that just plain cheeseburger and fries from McDonald's is her favorite, is our all time favorite. So in a romantic setting like that, I'm not mad at it. He got her some a cheeseburger and fries, and yeah, she loved that. So the next thing you know, yeah, that was one of the surprises. So after they were done eating, Tyler was just like, "Oh, I have another surprise for you." And she's like, "Oh my God, is he about to pop the question? Is he about to pop the question?" No, but he starts singing a song, singing a country song, and everything. He got her up to dance, and they just started dancing the night away and everything. And that was beautiful. That was a beautiful date. That was romantic. That's the stuff we need to see more. Why can't these other dating shows, like show more of this? This is why people love Love on the Spectrum, because it's more authentic. They're showing the love and everything. Now if this was a now I get now let's be real. Just name with the name on the show. Um, they're obviously proceeding with caution when doing this show for the obvious reasons, but they should be doing that with all the other shows. So you guys can see my frustration with the comparison to Love on the Spectrum to what I do with 90 Day Fiance and Married at First Sight and stuff. So I just wish the other dating shows like were more of this authentic and show more of the love and everything. And even when it doesn't work out, they're nice about it. They're not aggressive. They're not mean. There's no scandal and stuff and everything. They're nice about it. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to do the first 2 episodes. I'm going to be watching the final 5 episodes, so I'll come back and do those a little bit later. Probably do those this weekend before Sunday, before Easter. Try to get the rest of the episodes done, and I'll get back to you guys for those recaps. But I just wanted to come in and talk a little bit of the first 2 episodes of Love on the Spectrum because it really set the tone quick for the rest of the season. I do know we still got Abby and David. They're the power couple of the entire franchise that we still have to see. I know another couple from last season will be back. I think her name was Perry, the girl who like trains and stuff. I do know Logan. He likes trains. He showed a video of a guy like basically knocking trains off the tracks and stuff, and he had like Thomas and friends on his bed and stuff and everything. But yeah, that one girl, Yep Hurry, that's what the blind girl. I know they're gonna be back. And like I said, Abby and David, I do know we have one more new person to meet. And we're also going to see Tanner back as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of the season brings. So anyway, guys, that is the end of my review. I talked a good bit about this. I was expecting this recap to be this long, but yeah, it's a really good show. Like, it's a nice little change of pace from what I normally do. And yeah, so I'll try to watch the rest of the season in the next couple of days, and I'll get back to you guys either Friday or Saturday, and then after that we go back to our 90-day stuff. So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see y'all again soon. Love you guys. Bye.